Welcome back. Today, we step away from the noise to honor the American icons and global figures who recently passed away. Their stories moved us, and their legacies remain. If these tributes resonate with you, please consider hitting the like button. Your support allows us to continue honoring these lives with the dignity they deserve. Thank you for joining us. Let's look back together. Mel Schilling, a voice of truth. There was a heavy stillness in the air when the news arrived, not a frantic headline, but a quiet, somber realization. We are mourning the loss of Mel Schilling, 54, who passed away following a courageous battle with cancer. Her family shared the news simply, reflecting the grounded nature she was known for. If you've spent any time with reality television over the last decade, you'll recognize her. On Married at First Sight, both the Australian and UK editions since 2016, she wasn't there for the drama. She was the steady presence who leaned in to say what others were too afraid to voice. She didn't believe in the myth of the perfect relationship. She championed the hard, messy truths of human connection. Off camera, she faced her diagnosis with that same transparency and grit. It's moving to think of how many people watched her help strangers find love while she was privately navigating such a monumental personal fight. Her absence isn't a loud explosion in the news cycle. It's a quiet space where a meaningful voice once lived. Valerie Pine, effortless grace. The news of Valerie Pine's passing at 82 arrived like a soft exhale. It's the kind of confirmation that comes when someone has already stepped back from the bright lights, yet the impact of their work remains. Those who grew up with 1970s cinema remember her not just for her striking beauty, but for a screen presence that felt entirely unforced. In the film, Lenny, she didn't just act, she existed. It was a performance that captured the attention of the industry and the Academy alike, placing her at the very center of Hollywood's most honest era. She represented a time when movies felt raw and human. Looking back at those late-night screenings, you realize how much these icons become part of our own history. Even as their names fade into the quiet, the memories they created stay tucked away within us. Ronnie Bowman, the soul of bluegrass. It arrived without fanfare, just a name that represents an entire movement of sound. Ronnie Bowman has passed away at 64. For anyone who has spent years immersed in bluegrass, his loss is deeply felt. Whether you heard him on a long Sunday drive or through a flickering radio, his influence was unmistakable. His era with the Lonesome River Band helped define the genre for a generation. Bluegrass isn't about being flashy. It's about the truth found in a fiddle and a banjo. Ronnie had a voice that felt honest. You believed every word he sang. While he didn't always seek the brightest spotlight, he was the glue holding the genre together through his writing and producing. Next time a familiar song plays, you might notice that small new absence, the sound of time moving forward. Augie Myers, the Texas Heat. There is a specific rhythm that feels like the Texas sun, a blend of organ keys, and a beat that refuses to fit into a box. That was the magic of Augie Myers, who has died at 85. In the 1960s, the Sir Douglas Quintet broke all the rules by mixing rock and Tex-Mex. His Vox organ was the signature. You knew it the second it started. Whether he was with the Texas Tornadoes or working behind the scenes in the studio, Augie never chased trends. He blazed his own trail. He was a musician's musician, always present in the architecture of the songs we love. While the music won't stop, it feels a little more like a memory today. Kenny Loggins, the journey of a songwriter. Kenny Loggins didn't start with a silver spoon. Born in 1948 in Everett, Washington, his early life was shaped by a quiet, modest atmosphere and the emotional complexities of a family dealing with internal distances. When they moved to California, the scenery changed, but the pressure remained. Kenny wasn't a loud child. He was an observer, a trait that would eventually define his songwriting. Music became his way of processing the world. By 1970, he was cuting his teeth with the second helping, learning how to hold his own in a band. But the real shift occurred when he met Jim Messina. What began as a temporary collaboration turned into an era-defining partnership. Their 1972 debut, Sittin' In, reached people in a way they never expected. Songs like Danny's Song resonated because they felt real. They were about love without the safety net of wealth. By the mid-70s, the duo was a powerhouse, but the constant touring brought an invisible weight of exhaustion. In 1976, they parted ways. Standing solo again, Kenny faced that familiar childhood uncertainty, but this time with much higher stakes. He chose to step forward into the unknown. The 1980s saw him reinvent himself as the king of the soundtrack. From the playful energy of I'm All Right in Caddyshack to the cultural phenomenon of Footloose and the intensity of Danger Zone and Top Gun, Kenny became the voice of the cinema. Yet, as his fame peaked, his personal life struggled. He dealt with substance use and strained relationships in the shadows of his success. Eventually, the noise faded, and Kenny chose a different path. He embraced sobriety and moved toward more personal projects, like the beloved Return to Pooh Corner. He prioritized being a father over being a pop star, finding a balance that had eluded him for decades. Today, Kenny Loggins isn't chasing the charts. His 2022 This Is It tour wasn't a goodbye, but a transition. His voice now carries the weight of a life fully lived. Success, struggle, and everything in between. He remains a living part of our story, moving at a gentler pace, acknowledging the past without being trapped by it.